All right. Well, we're excited to speak today with Jessica, who's the head of growth at Rarible.
Or
Rarible,
I'm not necessarily that sick yet, but I do work on growth at Rarible.
technically, all right. So Rarible is one of the largest marketplaces for NFTs. It's not only a marketplace, but it's also a protocol you can build on. Coinfund is one of the early investors at Rarible. Jake, who is originally from Russia, the founder of Coinfund, bonded with the founders who are also originally from Russia, who came to him just with an idea a few years ago, and they built together Rarible. So we're really excited to speak to you today to see where is Rarible at, how you're working with the teams, what's the vision, and so that people know like how to work with Rarible.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the super cool things about Wearable, like Vanessa pointed out, is that we have both wearable.com, the marketplace, as well as the Wearable protocol, which is governed by the Wearable DAO. So what's awesome about that is we also have something called the Rari token, which you can use and incentivize some of your own creations there. But we'd love to see more and more people that are interested in building with the Rarible infrastructure launch cool new projects. A good example of this that I find like quite interesting is something called Club Divin, which is basically a wine club with NFTs based on utility that show which wine tastings a person has gone to, and then allows them to go to other wine tastings that are qualified with what might be synergistic with those prior.
So Rarible is known to focus on art and a little bit of the collectibles, but like the majority of the community is focused on art and NFTs. Could you tell us more about, what are the exciting drops that are coming up or have been happening in the past? Like, how do you collaborate with artists? How do you, get people on the platform, et cetera?
Totally. So Wearable is pretty focused on art. However, it's actually quite all encompassing. So we've got both artists launching and creators on that side, but we also have a lot of gaming NFTs as well. So in some ways, it's kind of like everything in the kitchen sink. It's not actually specifically curated, but we want to see all sorts of creators launching on Wearable. So one of the things like I feel about NFTs is essentially everything in this world could be represented with an NFT. My t-shirt, Vanessa's t-shirt, our shoes, and the art stuff that we're seeing now is sort of just the tip of the iceberg. But I'm excited to see all sorts of different assets really come on to the Rarible protocol and the Rarible.com marketplace.
So, as a marketplace, I mean, we see so many projects right now. Everyone wants to create a marketplace, right? So, how are you successful in creating a marketplace? How do you keep people coming back to your marketplace to engage with the community? Like, what are the features that are necessary for
Yeah.
Variable or any other marketplace to be successful?
Yeah, I actually love that question because that's something that we're actively working on is how it can we better enhance loyalty for the customers or users or community essentially on wearable.com. Well, right now I think actually the brand is pretty compelling. It's cool. But we're definitely working on making it easier for people to use. So improving the UI. One of the things I'm super stoked on is we're going to be launching what's called a white label product, which is going to allow NFT projects to come on and basically just do their drops and launches directly through Rarible without having to worry about as much upkeep as it normally would.
So Variable has integrated with a few protocols, including Flow and, of course, Ethereum. And I think there's a few more coming up. How do you see that multi-chain strategy for marketplaces?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the cool things about the fact that Rarible is multi-chain, we're also on Tezos, Solana is coming very soon, is that a lot of these chains actually are cheaper for people to mint NFTs. I don't. Maybe it doesn't mean that we're making as much money because if you look at the NFTs on Tezos and Solana, like they cost a lot less than those on Ethereum and we take a bit of a cut from that. But what is cool is it's great to just see more and more users start to onboard into NFTs that otherwise would find it somewhat cross prohibitive. So wearable isn't really just about the whales, which I think is awesome. For example, we're actually doing something with the Other Art Fair in London right now, and there's tons of people that are brand new to NFTs, but are artists or art collectors, and they're using Rarible with Tezos, and they're having a great time doing it. It's easy, it's cheap, and we're getting more and more people intrigued. So that's one of the broader goals of Rarible is not just really having a successful NFT marketplace, but helping spread sort of the joy, the vision, the love of NFTs to all sorts of people.
So we know that, the NFT market is price driven by a lot of like large holders.
Mm.
Let's put it this way. How do you cater to people who really just are trading NFTs? Are there any special features, things around pricing? What do you think traders need as this becomes more and more liquid?
Yeah, I actually love that question as well because another thing I work on is Upshot. So Upshot does NFT price appraisals, and it also does something called analytics, in which we users, and this isn't launched to the public yet, so you guys are getting a little bit of alpha if you want to try it out. But you can go on to upshot.io and you can take a look at your wallet and see an analysis of all of the NFTs in your wallet as well as the NFTs within essentially a wide range of wallets. And it'll break down based on the appearance of traits within a specific collection. And then also, it uses ML models to come up with a price feed or essentially an appraisal for what that NFT is essentially worth, not necessarily what it will sell for, because sometimes it sells for something different, but an estimate of what it's worth. And Rarible is actually now in talks to work with Upshot to help create more loyalty for their users by just giving them more features to understand what exactly they should be doing in terms of NFT trading or NFT holding, if that is how they'd like to go about it.
So, if I'm a developer in the audience and I want to work with Rarible, or I'm thinking of getting into NFT marketplaces or collaborating with existing platforms, what do you recommend?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, for one, please come talk to me. But two, I'd love to see people just create more interesting stuff in NFTs. I think all this art stuff is really just the tip of the iceberg, and it's awesome in many ways. But I also want to see more people get into NFTs. Right now, it's kind of this interesting combination of douchebag artists and douchebag tech bros. But if we could get more of you developers to create other cool things, that would be sick.
That's awesome. um, so, what can I say after this? When you say have more people coming in and see more things, are you thinking about gaming verticals? Are you thinking about fashion? What
Yeah.
other things are you
No,
talking?
totally. Yeah, we do have some good stuff in terms of the gaming and NFTs and all and making all that work. But it would be awesome to see more real assets that we think of in everyday life. So I used to actually work at MakerDAO. That's sort of where I started my career in crypto, and I was the first community manager there. Back when I was at Maker, we had this really cool vision of NFTs and how one day we'd take real estate and we'd put them into CDPs, so the collateralized debt positions, or now they call them vaults. And we were actually actively working on a project that was creating NFTs to represent ownership of an apartment building in Brooklyn. Unfortunately, like I don't work at Maker anymore, so that's probably why that project didn't succeed. Being ironic, but it would be cool to see more things like that pop up. Just the whole vast array of different assets in this world. It would be sick to see them actually represented with NFTs and then inserting that kind of stuff into DeFi. And you can use the Rarible protocol to maybe create that.
Yeah, we invested in another company called Bridge Split, and they're doing like indices for NFTs. And they've been in talks with a lot of people with real world assets. What people are interested in is to be able to tokenize that real world asset and then use DeFi to trade it. So I think we'll see that in the future. But a question for you is what is the future of the marketplace?
Yeah, no,
For Rarible, but also for others. Is it going to become, we're going to see Coinbase come in, we're going to see Kraken come in with a lot of, users. How do existing marketplaces differentiate themselves? And what is left for people who want to create new, innovative marketplaces? Because we know that the user stickiness on these large platforms is really high. So,
yeah, that's a good question. So one of the themes that Rarible is attempting to lean more into is this concept of community, because NFTs largely are community driven. People have these PFPs, they feel passionate about it. They get to go to token gated parties. If you guys went to like the Doodles thing that Diplo performed at, like that was pretty sick. So what we want to actually do with Rarible is help people just sort of live out their dreams, their best communities. And the way that we're doing that, I think we're still sort of figuring it out. Part of it has to do with having decent UX so people can actually use the thing. But then also, I think it has to do with the fact that there's a lot of stuff available on Rarible. So it makes it a bit easier for people to find what they want.
do you think Rarible will, provide loans or create new
Yeah.
services for its users
Yeah,
that can accelerate the development?
totally. Yeah. We actually are working on that. We're working with a number of kind of NFT X DeFi projects. And that's actually where I think the future of NFTs will go. Because right now we don't see like a huge amount of an intersection between NFTs and DeFi. There's a number of projects that are attempting to do that. And hopefully one day they become largely successful along with Rarible. But it would be great to see a lot of the capital in NFTs, which is essentially dormant right now, actually in DeFi.
So, Board Ape Yacht Club is launching a token. Do you think that that token could be traded on Rarible, for example? So, go beyond NFTs and have sort of an integrating approach
Yeah,
to that and to community?
yeah, 100%. I think we might need to hire some more engineers in order to make that happen. So also come talk to me. But yeah.
Any questions for Jessica on Rarible, or is anyone building here on NFTs or building marketplaces? Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, yeah, that's
Do
a
you
good.
want to repeat the question, maybe?
Or yeah, can I just give you the mic actually?
So I'm working a lot in augmented reality, and I want to be able to upload a GLB file to Rarible, and then have kind of a preview window where it's interactive, and then a view an AR button, so you could like use the native iPhone app to kind of check it out in the real world. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's not possible right now, but we'll work on that and make that possible.
All right. Oh, another question here.
Yeah. Could you say more about what you're doing with like thinking about open standards for NFT metadata and like providing APIs for wallets and for other marketplaces for games and things like that that are not only the OpenSea APIs? Like how do we create more open standards around NFTs?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something that we're actively working on along with the Rarible DAO, but that would actually be a better question for the Rarible DAO than it would be for me because I'm more on the Rarible.com side.
But it's, if you think about other projects, think about Aave, et cetera, like the ones that dominate or win are the ones that are open and that integrate with the most projects, right? So, for the protocol, I think that that's the direction they're taking. They actually hired an ex Aave engineer, head of engineer there, and I think they really want to see that become a reality. Any other questions? If not, oh, okay, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Any questions, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.